When analyzing mise-en-scène, one element that is often taken for granted is the setting. It's too easy to think of setting as being designed and constructed simply to provide an authentic-looking backdrop in service of foreground action. Okay, sure, oftentimes that's just what it is. And that's fine, but setting is capable of much more. Like the other elements of cinematic language and mise-en-scène, setting can create mood, convey specific narrative information, elicit an emotional response, and communicate character state of mind. It all started with a German silent film, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, a movie that rejected verisimilitude in favor of expressionistic settings designed not to look realistic, whatever that means, but instead convey a particular perspective and mood. In this case, the somewhat deranged point of view of a narrator who is ultimately revealed to be mentally ill. Caligari didn't want to create the normal world for its audiences. It wanted to make them feel what its protagonists felt, seriously disturbed. It accomplished this in large part with its setting, which twisted the normally horizontal and vertical world of right angles into jagged, pointed diagonals. Now, Hollywood wasn't about to push things quite that far, but its filmmakers recognized the power of setting and incorporated the jagged diagonal stylization in films like The Bride of Frankenstein to make the audience feel uneasy in its unnatural world. But the filmmakers wanted to do more than just creep out the people watching. They wanted them to understand and empathize with the misunderstood monster. In this scene, the recently escaped monster is uncharacteristically happy, which the setting enforces and communicates with its lush pastoral detail. Of course, it's not long before somebody sees him and freaks out and everyone's trying to kill him again. So in the next scene, that same lovely forest is suddenly a barren, rocky stretch of stark, limbless trees. The location hasn't changed, but the monster's state of mind has, and so the setting design reinforces his feelings of rejection and fear. Anyway, let's jump ahead about 55 years to another misunderstood monster movie. Edward Scissorhands opens with pure setting that again rejects authenticity in favor of the expression of information, mood, and state of mind. This suburban neighborhood is all about bland conformity. No embellishments, no individuality, zero personality. And setting tells you that. Not dialogue, not performance, setting. And that's just the beginning. When the unsuccessful Avon lady starts looking for new customers, an even more expressionistic setting is revealed that's straight out of Caligari and Frankenstein. The jagged diagonals of Edward's lair don't just convey that the occupant is scary. It goes way beyond that. This is a place that's very different from the cookie-cutter neighborhood below. It's all about contrast. Where the suburb is about sameness, the castle is pure individuality. The inner yard setting communicates still more. Individuality, yes, but now the contrast is between scary and forbidding on the outside, innocent and exuberant on the inside. Setting is telling us all about Edward Scissorhands before we even see him. Inside the actual castle, the setting is now working the narrative. The otherness of the jagged edges and harsh diagonals, combined with the horror movie associations we have with such settings, thanks to Caligari and Frankenstein, among others, create a threatening mood that provides the tension that will be so effectively released when we finally meet Edward. The personal space a character occupies is often among a film's most effective character communicators, and Edward's room is no exception. That's not just a hole in the roof, that's the hole in Edward's wounded soul. His sad little manger bed conveys even more specific information about his desperate need for acceptance and belonging. The setting is so expressive of its occupant's background and condition that it only makes sense that it dominates the scene right up until the moment we finally meet Edward in person. An earlier movie, Night of the Hunter, also uses setting to evoke character state of mind. Whether it's a thick bank of fog expressing a naive victim's moment of ultimate delusion, or a bedroom shaped like a sinister church for a killer who sees the act of murder as a religious ritual. And just like The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, this film's expressionistic settings also have a more general point of view effect. But this stylized rejection of authenticity reflects not the point of view of a madman, but instead makes us witness the story's very grown-up events through the eyes of an innocent child. Even movies like Citizen Kane, that are much less blatantly stylized, use setting to set a tone and convey state of mind. For example, young Charlie Kane's idealism and vitality is emphasized when placed within these cramped, low-ceilinged sets. All that youthful energy practically bounces off the walls. But later, the emptiness of the jaded and alienated Kane's self-imposed exile is all the more striking when enacted in an absurdly oversized setting. I mean, that's what he gets for retiring to this creepy old castle. Wait a minute. That looks familiar.